Good morning, everybody. My name is Joseph, and I am at the Buckles office. And welcome, everybody, to our Google Introductory training. Today, we will be covering the basics of Gmail. The first thing that we're going to do today is learn how to log into Gmail, and then create and send emails, as well as scheduling the email. And then we'll learn about organizing your inbox and filtering and labeling messages, as well as creating signatures, and then kind of a general tour of the other apps that are available and that we'll be covering in this introductory series. So without further ado, the first thing we're going to do is log into a Gmail account. I'm going to be using a dummy account called betty@buckles.org. This is Betty Buckles account. So the first thing I do is I type my email address into that field, and I'm going to click next, and then it's going to ask me for my password. So I'll type in my password, and then I'll just click next, and it's going to allow me to sign into this account. And it gives you a couple of options to choose a theme, and we don't really need those right now. So I'm going to just jump into my email, into my inbox. So in my inbox, I see there's a few messages here. If this is your first time logging in, there may be a few messages. If you have a Buckles email account, you may see a bunch of all messages, but you will probably see this first one. If it's a brand new account, you'll see this first one from Web Services. It says, welcome to Buckles, and that gives you kind of a rundown of some documents that we have for you to help you organize, and if it's your first time using Google, but basically just to welcome you into Buckles. So now that we're logged in, the most common thing that people want to do with their email is to compose an email or to create emails and send them. So that's what I'm going to do first. So I'm going to go up here to the left-hand corner, and you see this compose button. So I'll click that, and it opens up a new window for me. And you can see we can switch through. It gives you like little kind of quick reference guides as you go through the elements, especially if it's your first time logging in. And it'll let you know about the options that you have within Google and within Gmail. So I'm going to compose a message, and let's say I'm going to send this to Joseph. If you are part of our Buckles suite, you will see all the different Josephs that come up here. And as you type, it'll autofill for you. So I'm just going to click on that. I'm going to send Joseph an email, and I'll put a subject line in there, and then I just have to compose my email. And if you have Smart Compose on, as this tells you here, it will start helping you compose your email. And I like the Smart Compose. It helps me kind of quickly write my text. And I don't really have too much to say to Joseph. So there's my email. Now, if I'm ready to send it, all looks good, I'm just going to click send, and that will send my email off. Now, one of the other options that we have is to schedule an email. So I have this composed, it's ready to go, but I don't want to send it yet. I'm going to wait and pick a specific date. So on this send button down here, you see this arrow. If you click that arrow, schedule send, the schedule send option comes up. So I'll click on that. And now I can choose when I want to send it. It will automatically give me a couple of options, probably the most common options. But if I need a specific date and time, I just click the calendar, and I'm going to pick that time, that date, and then I'll choose the time. So let's say at 11 a.m. And then I'll schedule that send. Now that will wait in my Gmail, and it'll wait to send it to Joseph until that date and time. So that means next week I will be getting an email from Betty. So real easy to compose and send emails. And now we're going to get a little bit deeper into kind of organizing our inbox. So if you see here, this is my inbox. This is where all of my new messages come in. You can also see old messages, messages that have been read, but if I don't want them all in this view, what I can do is organize it so they are sent to what we call in Google labels. If you use other email services, they may call them folders. So it's just like organizing files on your computer. We're going to create folders and subfolders, or labels and sublabels. So to create a label, I'm going to go to the gear icon up here. And if I click on that, you'll see a button that says See All Settings. This is where you're going to go anytime you need to update any of your settings for Gmail. So there's a bunch of different tabs up here, and I want to go to the Labels tab, which happens to be the second one. I'm going to go to the Labels, and if you see, there are a bunch of options that are already created by Google, and you can choose to show them or hide them. But if I want to create a new label, a new way of organizing, or a new folder, basically, for my emails, I'm going to create it down here. So I click Create New Label, and now I just need to name that label. So I'm going to say committee emails. A lot of us deal with committees. If I have a bunch of other labels, I can nest them automatically underneath the main one. So this is basically creating sub labels. I don't have those, so I'm just going to create my committee emails and then click Create. And if you noticed, right here on the left side, committee emails popped up. So you see this little icon here, that's my label, and this is the title of that label. I can change the label color. So if I want to maybe make that green, a little bit easier to find, that's how I'm going to do that over here. So this little kebab menu, or the little three dots, is a way of changing the settings for this label. If I click on committee emails on that label, I'll see all of the emails that are part of that label or labeled committee emails. There aren't any right now, so let's go ahead and change that. I'm going to go into my inbox, and I'm going to find this one right here. Actually, instead of just going and changing that label, what I want to do is I want to find committee info. So I'm just going to jump ahead and do a little search here. So I'm going to write in committee. And this is my search tab up here, my search box. And that's going to search everything within my Google inbox. So I'm going to type the word committee, click enter, and basically everything's going to come up because it's all mentioned in all of them. So, but that will help you filter out any of the other emails. So I'm just going to jump to this one here, committee info. And now if I want to label this, I've just read it, it all looks good, and now I want to label it committee emails. If I click this tab up here, and if you hover, you'll see that info here, it says labels. I'm going to click on that, and then I'll just check off the committee emails label and click apply. Automatically, here's that label attached to my email. And if I go back to my inbox, you'll see it labeled there as well. It is no longer in bold because I have read it, so it's marked as an unread, as a read email. And if I go to my committee emails label, that email will be listed here as well. So it's a great way to kind of organize your inbox, whatever way is best for you. I'm going to jump back over to my inbox and just to show you one other way of labeling something. If I've already created a label here, I can also just check off the emails that I would like to label, and then click label and click the check off committee emails to the label that I want, and then click apply. So that's just another way of kind of doing bulk labeling. When I'm in my email, I'm going to go back to this one again. When I'm reading my email, if I wanted to create a label from here, I could do it up on the top as we did before. So if I wanted to add a new label to this, I'm going to create new, click create new. And let's say this is refreshment this particular email is about refreshments, and it actually is part of committee emails, I'll go ahead and click that, and that will automatically nest this label, the refreshments label, underneath committee emails. I'll click create, and you'll see automatically it all shows up here within the email, within the message. And on the left side, you'll see this refreshments label is nested underneath committee emails. So it's a great way to organize your inbox in incoming messages. So one other way of kind of automatically organizing your inbox is to create filters. So when emails come in or messages come in, you can automatically put them, either label them, delete them, kind of decide what you want to do with them before they get to you. So if I go to my settings and I click see all settings, a few tabs over is filters and blocked addresses. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. So if I would like to create a filter that will, when a message comes in, it will tell that message where to go. I can do that here. So if you notice, I've already created one for this account. I created one for the all messages. A lot of times, those all messages come in and they can kind of be daunting. Sometimes you don't necessarily want them. I know that was requested by our trustees. Like, how do I take these all messages and just automatically delete them? We can do that. Or you want the messages, but you want to read them later. You can do that as well. So we can create that filter. Let's create a new one. So I'm starting right down here at the bottom. I'm going to create a new filter. And I'm going to say if it was addressed to, let's stick with committees. If it was addressed to, let's say, tech committee, and Betty's not part of tech committee, but we'll make it work. If it was addressed to tech committee, I want it to automatically go to my committee emails label that I created before. So that is what from here, the two, I'm going to click create filter. And so we have some automatic ones here. So like if you just wanted to delete them, you could do that. But I want to apply a label. So I'm going to choose a label and I'm going to go to committee emails. And then I click create filter. And automatically, anything that comes to my inbox that was addressed to techcommittee@buckles.org will automatically get the label committee emails. Just to show you what I did for the all messages, I clicked create a new filter. I typed in all and chose that email or that address. And then I clicked create filter. And then I chose to delete it. So this is another place where you could start by forwarding it, but we have to add a forwarding address, you'll see here. So we're going to do that in a second. So I just chose delete it, and then I clicked create filter. And that's how I got to, I'm going to just jump back over here. That's how I got this filter up here. From here, I can edit that filter, and I can delete the filter. So if you realize like, oh, I created this filter, it's not really working the way I want to, I can go ahead and edit it and change that. So I'm going to just take a moment to see if there are any questions. Darlene, did any questions come up so far? Because we're going to kind of change gears in a minute. If you're speaking to me, I think you need to unmute.
Sorry. If we do have a question coming up, but I think you'll be addressing it.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, so now we've logged into our account. We've started to organize things. And again, I'm just showing you a couple of options when it comes to organizing your inbox. If you go to those links that were provided in that document that I gave you at the top, you'll see there are a lot of other options as far as organizing. So the next thing I'm jumping into is we want to create a signature so that everybody who receives your email gets the signature. They know where you're coming from, and it is actually part of Buckle's procedure to create a signature within your email. So I'm within my settings. I'm just going to walk there again. So if you were in your inbox and you go to your settings, see all settings, and then scroll down, you're going to get to the signature portion. There's labels here, signature, and right now I don't have any signatures, so I want to create a new one, and I'm going to click create new, and you can create multiple signatures. So I'm going to call this my default signature and click create. So here it is, labeled default. This is where I can edit it, and this is where I can delete it. I can also create a new one. I can just assign which emails it goes to, or if I want to create a signature, if I want to assign a signature. Again, on replies, do you want that signature to show up every time that you reply as well? If not, you just click no or choose no signature. So now I want to create it, and this is the box where I create my signature. Now I've already created one, so I'm just going to grab this text here. And I'm going to paste that in. We like to have your name, your title, maybe your address, your library, and your contact info. So that looks good to me. And I will, for this, I will say I'm going to use, for all new emails, I'm going to use my default signature. That's what this one's called. And on replies, I don't want a signature on a reply. It's not necessary for my my messages to constantly generate that signature. And then I'll just scroll down and click Save Changes. And that's as easy as that. So you just create a new signature. And again, before I mentioned you can create multiple signatures. And when we composed our message, one of the very first messages that Google sent us was that we can alternate from signatures. So I can choose a different one. I can choose to shut it off. You see that shuts off there, or I can choose my default signature, and that automatically attaches it to my message. So when you're composing an email, just because I have this open, I just want to mention this. When you're composing an email, if you click close when you're composing, so say I've composed an email here and I don't really like it anymore. It's not what I wanted. I want to just get rid of it. If you click close, it will automatically save that email as a draft. If you click the trash can icon, that will delete the email. And that's just something to note as you're creating your emails. If you just click close, it's going to save it automatically as a draft. If you click the trash can icon, it's going to delete the message. So let's say I was composing my message here and I just clicked close. You'll see it shows up under my drafts over here on the left, and it's labeled as a draft. I jump into that, here it is. Now, I don't really want this. I actually wanted to delete it, so I'm going to click delete. And you'll see here it disappears out of my draft. Just something to note. It's a great learning tool there. The other thing that you can do is you can create templates. So within that compose, I've created this email. I think it looks good. I send this email out a lot. I want to then just alter a couple of words in it each time, but it is basically a default email that I'm going to use all the time. Under this kebab menu, there are places. I have to check on that. I actually wasn't planning to share this with you today, so I have to check on that, and I'll check that for you guys in a minute. So, but again, remember, if you're going to close it, it will automatically save as a draft. If you're going to delete it, make sure you click the trash can icon. Okay. So, any questions so far? I think we're actually doing great on time. Kind of went through our emails. We learned how to label the emails. We learned how to compose, send them, and schedule them to send. Lastly, what I want to do is get through basically some of the other apps that are available for you within the G Suite. So over here on the right side, we have our calendars and your tasks, and these are a bunch of great kind of shortcuts to your apps. So I use the calendar all the time. So one of the first things I do when I open up my browser is I open my Gmail, but then I also open up a calendar. So this is one place that you can find it here, and it will sit right over here on the right side. But if I want to see a larger version of that, what I do is I go to my launcher, which is this square of dots up here. And then these are all of the different apps that are available to you from Google. And then there are lots of other ones down here. If you are part of our committees, you are familiar with the Happio app at the bottom. If I go to the calendar app here, anytime I click on this, it's going to open up in a new tab. So now I have a much larger view, and I can view this in lots of different ways. Let's just put that. And I like the month view, but we will cover calendars on another day. So if I go back to that launcher again, this is again within my Gmail, but if just notice it exists in all of the applications. So I can get to it from here as well. I can go to my Google Drive. That's where you store all your files, your docs, sheets, slides, and chat. That's all the stuff that we're going to be covering within this series. So that last one I just mentioned was chat. So within Google Suite, we have the option of having like a direct message with our other members. So you can get to the chat by here, just here clicking on chat, and that will open up a new tab for you just like it did before. I'm going to get started. You can read through all those. I don't have any conversations going, so I want to start a chat, and I'm going to look for somebody to chat. I'm going to go ahead and look for Darlene. And here is where I can just send her a message, and it's off. So Betty has sent Darlene a message, and when she responds, if she responds, I will get a notification that there is a response, and I can go check that. If I don't feel like opening up this tab and I want to see everything in one place, luckily Google does that for you. So back in my Gmail tab, that was the first one, right down here underneath all of our labels, we have the chat box here. So you'll see all the different chats that you have going. So you can click on that and it will open up in a much smaller window in the bottom right-hand corner. This is really great if you just need to ask somebody a really quick question. You don't need a direct or a quick response for them. They'll respond whenever, but it's a little bit more urgent than say an email, and maybe they're not working at your library, but they're at a different library. So it's a really nice option that Google has for you. Okay. So basically got through everything we needed to today. So are there any questions? I'd like to open it up to, first we would like to answer, if I'm not mistaken, Darlene, we want to answer the questions that were submitted beforehand, and then we will open it up to the Q&A.
Yes, yes.
Great.
Okay, so we did have a question that was submitted in advance, needing help with naming and organizing folders.
Mm-hmm.
I think you had touched upon the labels and the filters,
Mm-hmm.
the scheduling, and I think you'll address templates. Can you add anything about dealing with spam?
So with dealing with spam, when spam comes in, the best thing that you can do is label it as spam. A lot of times, so Google has this really great filter system. So it most likely will filter out things that are spam automatically, and you'll see all those messages over here on the left-hand side. If you just click more, I'm going to see all of these extra ones, including the spam box. So anything that Google has deemed spam will automatically go into this box. If you get something in your email, in your inbox, and you think that it is spam, it does not look so great, you can report it as spam over here or report it as phishing. So this is where you want to do it over here, and then you can delete that message. It will automatically kind of report it to Google, and it'll keep track of those kind of messages that come into your inbox. Anything that is sent within our organization will not be marked as spam because it is a trusted organization.
Thank you, Joseph.
Yeah.
We also received a question asking if there's a way to get notifications from a secondary Gmail account. This is an account that's someone has to monitor in addition to their primary account.
Right. So there's no way to get just a notification from another account unless you turn, I'm going to rephrase that. So if you have multiple Gmail accounts, you can, and you use the same workstation, you can turn on notifications for that email account at your workstation. So you'll get a desktop notification. So you're going to do that by going to your settings, see all settings, and then you need to go to notifications. So if I scroll down here, I know it's weird to follow somebody scrolling. There's a desktop notifications. You can turn them on for new mail notifications or important, what you've deemed as important. So this is where you would do it, and that's basically going to turn on desktop notifications. As far as other accounts, the other option that you have is to forward an account, or forward messages. If it's an account that is shared, this could be helpful if you forward those messages on to the people who share that account. Just know that it will send you everything that is sent to that account. So I'm going to do that by setting up a forwarding address. So I went to forwarding and pop IMP, and I need to add a forwarding address. So I click on add forwarding address. I have to type in the name of the forwarding address and click next. And then it's going to send an email to that address that you chose, and you need to verify that address. And once you do that, you come back here and just refresh, and then you can turn on forwarding. So that is an option to have the forwarding go to your main account. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Joseph.
You're welcome.
We have another question. When you label something, does it still stay in the inbox?
Yes. So if you notice, it does stay in my inbox. So this is my inbox here. It does stay there. It will, because I read them, they are marked as unread. So if I was in an email, so I was reading this message, if I want this to stay as unread, I need to mark it as such. So there's a little envelope icon here. I'm going to click mark as unread. Now within my inbox, you'll see it looks like I haven't read it. So if you are labeling something from within a message and you don't choose to mark it as unread, it will automatically change that to a read message. If you are filtering them and they are coming into your inbox and going into or being labeled right away, they will not be unread. They will not be read until you actually go in and look at them. But the message itself will go over to will be labeled. It will stay in your inbox the whole time. So it's basically, they're always going to be in your inbox, but if it's either read or unread. That was kind of a long way of getting to that answer.
Thank you.
It disappears from your inbox.
So I think this question was answered with the filtering explanation, Joseph, but if there's something else, is there a quick way to place an email in its folder and remove it from the inbox?
Yes, you click on it and you say, "Oh."
Yep, you can click on it and you can move it to, and you can choose where you want it to go. And you'll see that it disappears from here. So there's a difference between labeling it and moving it. So that's the main difference. So here's my email, and in my inbox that still exists. It's labeled, but if I want to move it, I'm going to hover over that item right there. It looks like a folder, it has a little arrow, and I'm going to click move, choose the folder now or the label, and now it's going to be in here only.
So we could manually move an email to a folder, or we could set up
Or
the
you can
filter,
set up the filter
right?
to do it as well. If you don't want to
Okay.
just label, but you actually want it to move, you can do that within the filters.
Okay, so there are
Yeah,
two
there's a
options.
lot of options when it comes to filtering. There's a lot of choices.
Okay. And I have another question. Will you talk about the difference between using a computer or using an app?
Sure. So using a computer, and well, in what way? I'm not sure I
Okay.
understand. So the app is within your phone. You're probably going to use it on some kind of mobile device using that app versus a computer. On your computer, more likely than not, you're going to be signing into your Gmail using a browser like Chrome. So my browser preference is Chrome. Some people like Firefox, some people like another one. So, but I like Chrome, especially if we're using Google, because Chrome is Google. It's owned by Google.
Mm-hmm.
And on your app, the app, you'd be using a mobile device, such as your phone, and you're going to need to download that app. You can download the Gmail app. In our launcher here, you see these are all the different apps that are offered by Google. You can get all of these on your phone as well.
So there was an additional comment that the interface of the app is very different.
Yes, it does look very different. When I'm using my Gmail app, it is only Gmail. It doesn't look like the rest of this stuff. So, and some of the options are not available. Most of the browsing options, like moving and labeling, are available, but some of the other things are not. So, yeah, you basically, I will not be covering all of the options within the app, but that is definitely, it's true that it does look different.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm just going to give a few closing remarks. If anyone has any other questions, if you'd like, you can type them in the Q&A box, or momentarily you can unmute yourself and you can ask Joseph. So while anybody's thinking of additional questions, I just wanted to say thank you to Joseph Palmer, our web development and product coordinator, for a great class. Our next class in the series is next Monday, the 13th at 10 o'clock, and the topic is Google Docs. I would like to also thank our director, staffers, trustees, and friends of the library for attending. And just a reminder, if you signed in with only your first name, please email me, because I do have several people that signed up with the first name. I just want to make sure that I give you proper credit. Certificates for those who attended all 8 classes will be sent after the series is over. And we'll also be sending an evaluation to everyone after today's session. Your feedback is very important, so please respond, as it helps us to plan future events. So I don't see any new questions in the chat box. If anyone,
I think a few people raised their hand.
okay, I was just going to say,
them,
if anybody's raised their hand, we'll go with those questions. So Joseph, do you?
I think Karen has her hand raised.
Yes, thank you. I apologize if you've covered either of these 2 issues. In the beginning, I was having problems getting connected in. But 2 things. And one is maybe something that you can't control at all. When you're in Gmail, and if you have multiple accounts open, when you go to sign out, and you're just saying you're signing out of the one account, it actually signs you out of everything. Is there any way to prevent that?
No, unfortunately, it's a security element from Google. It's going to sign you out of all accounts.
That's really a hassle. They really should fix that.
So, are you signing out of your browser, or are you signing out of your
Account.
account. So your email. So if you just click on this tab here, or sorry, this button here on the top right-hand corner where you see your email account,
Yes.
that should give you an option to sign out of just that account. If you want to have multiple accounts open and not have that option where you have to sign out of all of them, open up a new browser instance. So if I click up here, you're going to see I have all of these different email accounts that are available right now to me, but they're all different browser instances. So this one is only Betty Buckles' email account. So what I would do in that case, if you do that often where you have multiple accounts open them within a new browser.
Okay.
So you can do that by just clicking up here and then clicking add.
Yeah, well, oh, okay. All right. The next question has to do with auto replies. Did you go over that already?
I did not. No, I did not go over auto replies, but I will, I can quickly, in your settings, you're going to find that here, just going to jump down. There's a vacation responder, which you can set up as well. But all of those settings are going to be here within your main settings page. So you'll find all of that.
Okay. Just as a quick question, the auto reply that I need to create will have to be extensive because it has to address different issues. Because I have one account that I'm basically the gatekeeper. And so there's multiple issues that are coming through. So it's like, well, if you're sending in a note for the first time, you'll get this. If you're sending it for XYZ, it'll be this. If you're sending in it for ABC, it'll be this. So it's gonna have to be like I said, very lengthy. Is there will it allow you to do something that would, like that?
There are definitely ways of doing that. It is, as you said, it is more complicated. But there is this article. It's not from Google, and so I don't own this article. Google does not own this article, but I'm just going to share it in the chat box. This is an article that was written basically on exactly this topic. And it is a third party, so I can't really vouch for everything that they say, but it is kind of a recent article too, and it kind of goes over that idea of like, how can you send an auto reply based on a message that comes in that has this particular subject or mentions this kind of information. So it is much more involved though.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Where did you show the article?
It's in the chat box. So if you in your WebEx
there you
screen,
go.
bottom right hand corner, yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Joseph?
Yeah.
I did find another question or two in the chat box.
Okay.
I don't like the way replies nest with the original email. Is there a setting to turn that off?
That again would be within your settings, and that instead of going to see all settings, it's going to be here on the right side, and you can change your inbox type, you can change how you read the conversation, and also the email threading down here is the conversation view versus I forget what they call the other thing. So that is all going to be in your settings, your basic settings. Same thing with the theme if you want to change the theme.
Okay, thank you. And I did find some more questions in the chat box.
Okay.
How do you move a spam email to your regular inbox?
So within your spam, I don't have anything in spam, I forgot. So I want to show you one if I have it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to look and see if I have their account.
And these are, this is for folks that don't have a buckles.org email. I don't know if it's different.
No, as long as it's a Gmail account, it's going to be the same.
Okay.
So can you all see that? I just moved something over to that window. You should see this big orange thing that says moving from peer to supervisor, supervisor 101. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is an example of a message that was sent to my spam box. So here, this is Google telling me why it's in there, and it will always show up as a button where you can report not spam, and then you can move it up here to your inbox. So when you click move and choose inbox, it'll move it to your inbox for you.
Okay.
Always be very careful about things that are marked as spam, though. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Do scheduled emails stay in drafts until they are sent out? Can you delete them before they are sent out? And I think you had touched upon that.
So in this screen, you'll see here are my labels on the left side, and here's the one that's been scheduled. So here it is here. I can go in and update it at any time until it's sent out. I can delete it, I can click on it and cancel it, or I can send it right away as well. So I don't really have the option to edit it. So what I would do is cancel it, and then it becomes a draft again. So I can update what I want it to be, and then either send it right away or schedule send. So basically, it kind of helps start things over.
Great. We have one last question. So if anybody has any other questions, please put them in the Q&A box or raise your hand to unmute. So Joseph, is there a way to change the color of the labels?
Yep. So within my labels over here, just like we did before, here's my committee emails label. If I click on the kebab menu, here's my label color. I can change it. And then it'll ask me, because this one has a sub label, it'll ask me, do I want to do it all? Let's do it all. So there it is. And then when I label something within my inbox, if I label this, say that, the label is orange. In my inbox, it's orange as well.
Okay. Okay, I don't see any additional questions in the Q&A box. I don't know, did anyone else raise their hand?
I did. Sorry, this is Karen Harris again.
Okay.
I apologize.
No problem.
You started to get into this, but then you said you'd come back to it.
Oh, the templates.
The keeping of the drafts, yeah. And being able to modify them.
Yeah, so the drafts, if I'm creating a message here, I'm composing a message, if I just click close, it'll automatically save it as a draft. So I can go to my drafts, and here it is.
No, that wasn't the question though. I got that. And you have, it's if you're actually sending out that same draft over and over with some minor modifications.
Right, sorry, the templates. Yep.
Yes.
So I don't know why it's not showing on that account.
Because I do this a lot.
Yeah. So for some reason, it's not showing on that account. So give me 1 second. I'm going to show a new one. So here is my account where I'm composing my email. And down in the kebab menu down here, we have templates.
Oh.
So if you have an email that you have composed and you want to save it as a template, you're going to save it here. You can save it as a new template, and name it.
Okay.
Once I have those templates, if I want to just plop that into my message, I'm going to click the name of the template, and here's my message, which I'm not going to keep up there for too long.
Okay, so now, oh wait, I'm sorry.
I'm going to go back there again. Yep.
Yeah, how did you put the information into a new message? How did you do that?
So first, compose your message.
Yes.
So let's just grab.
Yeah, the one you saved. Yeah, okay, I got that. Okay, so you save that and you, now
So
you're
here's my
starting.
message, and now I have to create a template out of this. So I'm going to go to templates,
Right.
and then save draft as template.
Yep.
Save as new template.
Save
If
a new
I
template.
if I choose the template that's already there, it's going to override that one. So what I
Right.
want to do is save as a new template, then I name it,
Right.
click save.
Okay.
Then once I have that template in there, I choose that from here, and it will add that into my message.
Okay. Okay. Terrific.
Okay, I think that covers everything. Again, I would like to thank Joseph for a terrific class with lots of great information. And I'd like to also thank everyone for their great questions and their participation. And we're looking forward to next week's session on Google Docs.
Great. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Joseph. You've been a
You're
great
welcome.
help.
You're very welcome.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank
You
you.
too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.